Hello everybody, I am Zoe, and in this video I am going to be showing you how to do a fun turn. This is a pivot turn. We use it in belly dance and in other kinds of dance. Definitely not unique to belly dance, but it is fun to use. So, for this turn, what you're going to do is simply step forwards. That's when you pivot, step back, and then do the pivot. So I'm going to break that down a little more, but that's the basic idea. Yeah, forwards, pivot, turn, back, pivot, turn. So, to go over this in a bit more detail, I step forwards, my weight comes onto my front foot here, and then I'm going to pivot by slightly lifting my heel just a little bit. My back toes are also on the floor here. They're touching the floor, but my weight is on the front foot, and I'm pivoting around my toes by just scooching the heel around. Yeah? And then turning. And now I bring my weight onto the back foot, step, and then do the exact same thing, but facing the back and turning to the front. I'll show you from the side. It might be a little easier to see what's going on with the feet. So, weight is on my, we'll say, back foot as I step forwards. I shift my weight onto the front foot, but I leave my back toes touching the floor, and then I pivot around this front foot by just lightly scooching that heel around to pivot around the toes. My weight is still on this leg. Now I'm going to step forwards again, and then I'm just going to repeat, but facing the new direction. So stepping front, lifting that back foot, so just the toes are on the ground, pivot, and then stepping again. So it's step, pivot, step, step, pivot, step, step, pivot, step, step, pivot. Yeah? So I usually do it to the front and back, but of course you can just do it to the front and then do something facing the back, or you're already facing the back and then you can pivot to face the front, or you can even do like 4 of them. In this case, I don't do a step in between. I just kind of bring my weight back onto the foot, step, and bring the weight back, step. I guess you could call it a step, but it's a little different. So that is the basic pivot turn. The other thing is, of course, spotting. As with all turns, you want to be focused on a spot. Of course, since you are changing directions, you can't spot front the entire time. I mean, that would look very weird. You'd be twisting your head around. So you're actually going to have 2 spots, or to however many directions you're turning. So you would start by spotting front, and then as you turn to the back, pick a new spot in the back, and then turn facing the back, and then spot front. Again, I'll show that from the side. So I would be looking front, and then quickly pick my new spot on the opposite side, continue looking at that spot here, and then new spot. So 1 spot, 1 spot, 1. So you want to get that head movement in there so that you are always looking at a fixed point and not letting your gaze go all the way around. So we can just leave our hands on our hips for this. It's pretty basic. I don't do like fancy arm movements. Just going to have the hands on the hips. So you can just try that a few times. Of course, always want to try the other leg as well. So we're not just always doing the same leg. Pivot and pivot and pivot and pivot. Of course, again, you're not going to do this move like 10 times in a row in a dance. That would just be very weird and a bit boring. But we're going to put this on a little combination to practice. And the combination is going to be a little sort of chassé to the side. So we're going to kind of step out, in, out, and then cross back, step front, and now we're going to do the pivot to the front, pivot to the back, and now I'm ready to go the other way. 1 and 2, back, forwards, pivot, and pivot. Again, 1 and 2, back, forwards, pivot, pivot, 1 and 2, back, forwards, pivot, and pivot. So yeah, this isn't really a very oriental type move, but it's a lot of fun, and I definitely do use it in dance. So that's the pivot turn. A lot of fun, not too difficult, great for many kinds of dance. I really hope you had fun with it. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, to subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and happy practicing.